Ever finished a drawing and thought, why doesn't this look anything like what I had in mind? You're not alone. First up, let's take a look at your workspace. Your workspace is the foundation of all good drawing. Let's start with something that most artists overlook: the angle of your drawing surface. Working on a flat surface is actually one of the biggest mistakes that beginners make. When your paper lies flat, you're viewing your drawing at an angle, which creates distortion in how you perceive your work. This is why so many artists look at their finished piece and wonder, why does this look so different than when I was drawing it? Ideally, you want to work on an inclined surface, around 20 to 30 degrees, but mine is often as high as 45. This position allows you to see your drawing straight on while you work, giving you a much more accurate view of proportions and perspectives. You don't need anything fancy for this. An inexpensive drawing board with a built-in stand will work just beautifully. Even propping your drawing board against some books can make a world of difference. An inclined surface also improves your posture, reducing strain on your neck and back during those long drawing sessions. Trust me, your body will thank you after a few hours of focused work. Next up, lighting, the unsung hero of great artwork. Lighting may seem like a minor detail. As long as you can see your art, all is great, isn't it? But the truth is, lighting can make or break your drawing experience and outcome. Poor lighting doesn't just strain your eyes, it actually distorts how you perceive colors and values in your work. The gold standard for artists is natural north-facing light, south-facing if you're in the southern hemisphere. This provides consistent, indirect sunlight without harsh shadows or glare. But since we can't all have perfect studio spaces that are facing north, and we certainly can't expect perfect weather all the time, we can make do with artificial lighting. When choosing your light bulbs, color temperature is crucial. You want to aim for daylight bulbs with a color temperature of 5000 to 6500 K. These produce a clean, white light that most closely resembles natural daylight. Avoid standard household bulbs that cast yellowish light. They throw off your value perception completely. As for the setup itself, avoid working directly under an overhead light. This creates shadows from your hand and arm that fall right across the area where you're working. Instead, position your main light source to come from the opposite side of your dominant hand. For optimal results, use at least 2 light sources: primary light directed at your work and a secondary, more ambient light to reduce contrast and fill in the shadows. Adjustable desk lamps with daylight bulbs are perfect for this setup. If you're serious about your art, I highly recommend investing in good quality LED light with adjustable brightness and color temperature. Many affordable options are available out there now, and the difference in your work and the reduced strain on your eyes will be immediately noticeable. Now let's talk about references. Drawing what you see rather than what you think you should see. One of the biggest leaps in your artistic journey happens when you start consistently using references. Our brains are full of symbols and shortcuts that get in the way of accurate drawing. When I say draw an eye, your brain immediately pulls an almond-shaped symbol of an eye, not the complex, unique shape that the real eye actually is. References break this pattern by forcing you to draw what you actually see, not what you think you see or what you think you should see. And there's so many great reference options out there. Photography is perhaps the most accessible reference medium. Simply go to Google Images and search for whatever it is that you want. Your own photos are also great because you understand the context and the lighting. There are also stock photo websites that offer millions of high-quality images, especially for artists. And finally, we have the latest and greatest AI option, though I would be very careful with AI-generated images, as they don't always get the light source or the details correctly. You want to practice on real-life references. And that leads us to live models. Live models are the gold standard, especially for figure drawing. The human form in three-dimensional space has subtleties that photos simply can't capture. If hiring a life model isn't an option for you, try recruiting your friends and family. Most people are flattered to be immortalized in art. Artist mannequins and miniature models are fantastic as well. Basic skulls and these wooden models are particularly useful. They have them for full bodies, for heads, for individual body parts. The hand ones are great. There's a ton of stuff on Amazon. More advanced anatomical models can teach you what's happening beneath the surface, which is essential knowledge for creating convincing figure drawings and portraits. Even everyday objects make excellent references. Consider the things you have in your house. A simple arrangement of fruit and books can become a fascinating still life study. Remember, using references isn't cheating. It's how professionals work. Even the old masters use references extensively. Now that we have your space all set up and well lit, let's talk about tools. Drawing tools are incredibly personal. What works for one artist may feel completely wrong to another. Let's explore some options to help you find your perfect match. Graphite pencils are the foundation of most artists' toolkits, and for a good reason. They're versatile, predictable, very common and affordable, and come in a wide range of hardnesses. For sketching, I strongly recommend using harder graphite pencils, H, 2H, or even 4H, or even higher. These create light, precise lines that are perfect for planning your composition without overwhelming the page or your eyes. The harder pencils apply less graphite to the paper, which means your initial sketch becomes a subtle framework that you can build upon rather than something you need to erase. And speaking of erasers, I want to challenge you to break your eraser dependency. One of the most transformative practices for improving your drawing is learning to sculpt your image rather than to constantly erase and reshape it. Think of your drawing as of an emergent form, something you're gradually revealing through progressive refinement rather than trying to get it flawless from the start. A fantastic trick for eraser avoidance is to sketch with colored pencils in light shades like lilac, light blue, or pale peach. These create visible but soft lines that you can easily build over with your final medium. But they psychologically free you from the perfectionism associated with graphite. You'll find yourself drawing more confidently and fluidly. Plus, these colored underdrawings can add subtle richness to your final piece. Also, they're a lot more difficult to erase than graphite. As you progress from your initial sketch to developing form and values, softer graphite grades like B, 2B, 4B, 6B, and even higher, though that becomes unnecessary, will give you those rich, dark values essential for creating depth. Charcoal, on the other hand, offers a completely different drawing experience. It's broader, more immediate, and capable of incredibly rich blacks that graphite simply can't achieve. Vine charcoal is light and is easily manipulated, making it perfect for initial layouts and atmospheric effects. Compressed charcoal gives you those dramatic darks, but is more permanent. And don't overlook my personal favorite, white charcoal. When working on toned paper, white charcoal allows you to work with both light and shadow at the same time, creating a truly three-dimensional effect that's impossible with just graphite. A major difference between graphite and charcoal isn't just in appearance, but also in approach. Graphite can be precise and controlled, making it ideal for detailed work. Charcoal is more tactile and expressive, encouraging a looser, more gestural approach. Neither is better. They're just different tools for different expressions. And I teach them both in depth and step by step in my Fundamentals of Drawing course. A lot of students that go through that course find themselves surprised to discover new tools that they didn't think they would like. So I highly encourage you to give all tools a shot. You never know what you actually like to work with. And don't forget about the importance of paper. The texture or tooth of your paper dramatically affects how your tools perform. Smooth papers show every detail, but can be unforgiving. Textured papers add character, but may not support fine detail. Experiment with different combinations to find what feels right for you and your drawing style. And remember, expensive doesn't always mean better, especially when you're learning. Many master artists, including myself, use surprisingly simple tools. It's not what you use, but how you use it that matters. And speaking of how you use it, let's talk about technique now. Starting with how you actually hold your drawing tool. For loose, expressive marks, try holding your pencil or charcoal either overhand or really far back on the tool. These grips engage your whole arm and create more fluid and confident lines. When working on large-scale sketches, move from the shoulder. We do a lot of these exercises in Fundamentals of Drawing, so if you've gone through that course already, you know all about working from the shoulder. For precision work, on the other hand, the traditional writing grip gives you the most control. But don't grip too tightly. Tension is the enemy of good drawing. Your hand should be relaxed enough that somebody could easily pull the pencil from your fingers. When sketching, focus on capturing the big shapes first. Many beginners make the mistake of starting with details, but without a solid foundation, those details won't have anywhere sensible to live. Start with simple geometric forms that capture the essence of your subject, then gradually refine. Use light, loose lines for your initial sketch. These aren't mistakes. They're part of the process of finding the right shapes. Embrace this exploratory marks rather than trying to get everything perfect on the first try. For shading, develop your control over pressure. A single pencil can create multiple values just by adjusting how hard you press or by how many layers you add. You hear me say layers, layers, layers in my every tutorial and my every course. Practice creating smooth gradients from light to dark, and remember that transitions between values often create the most realistic effects. Cross-hatching is another essential technique, overlapping lines at different angles to create textures and value. The closer together the lines, the darker the area appears. But again, build up that value with layers rather than pressure. Now let's talk about some practice strategies. Consistent practice is the secret ingredient to artistic growth. But how you practice matters just as much as how often you practice. One of my favorite exercises is drawing on different scales. Tiny thumbnail sketches, no larger than a couple of inches, force you to focus on most essential elements of your subject. On the flip side, try working much larger than usual. Use big paper and make sweeping marks that engage your entire arm and shoulder. This develops muscle memory and encourages you to move expressively and create confident line work. It's also incredibly freeing if you're used to working small. Timed exercises are also very interesting. Don't let them make you feel pressured though. Try gesture drawing, for instance, where you can capture the essence of a subject in under 2 minutes. This prevents overthinking and trains you to identify what's truly important in your subject. As you get more comfortable, extend your time to 5 or 10 minutes, gradually adding more detail while maintaining that initial energy. Accountability makes a huge difference in your progress, which is why joining a community of fellow artists is so valuable. Don't be shy. At It's Easy to Draw Art Academy, we offer university-level courses in drawing and coloring that you can take at your own pace. But we also have a free community that welcomes artists of all levels. Even if you're not enrolled in any of the courses, you're more than welcome to join, share your work, and ask questions. Having feedback from experienced artists and peers accelerates your growth exponentially. Finally, keep everything you draw. Start a portfolio or even just a folder where you save your work, especially the pieces you don't like. Tracking your progress is incredibly motivating, and those failed drawings often contain valuable lessons. Plus, it's amazing to look back after a few months or years and see how far you've come. Drawing is a skill, my friend, not a talent. And like any skill, it improves with thoughtful practice and the right approach. The techniques we've covered today, from setting up your workspace to joining a supportive community, are the same principles I've used in my own artistic journey, and that I teach to thousands of students in It's Easy to Draw Art Academy. Remember, the goal isn't perfection, but progress. Each drawing teaches you something new, and each challenge helps you grow. Be patient with yourself, stay curious, and most importantly, enjoy the process. If you enjoyed this video, please give it the thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, And remember to join It's Easy to Draw Art Academy. Everyone is welcome. We have a super friendly community and it's easy to join. All the clickable links are in the video description and in the pinned comment. And a QR code has been popping up on the screen throughout the entire video. Just point your camera at it and click join. I can't wait to meet you. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!